What is up everyone, Manny at the Game Manny channel here, and welcome back for another video. One of my favorite types of Mario Kart speculation on YouTube is watching these retro predictions video for the future entry. And to keep the hype going for the new Mario Kart game, I'm going to showcase my retro predictions for this video. But before we start, here are some of my rules that you're about to acknowledge when watching this video. I have a strong hunch that Nintendo will include 48 tracks for the base game with the new game, with 24 originals and 24 retros. And since this video is about predicting the retro tracks, I decided to include 6 retro cups. And the track selection I picked is balanced with 24 retros from my prediction, 12 returning retros, and 24 new retros that have never been remade. Rule number 1, no retros from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I mean, come on. We played enough of these retros for decades, so I won't be including any of these tracks. That includes the Boosted Course Pass, no Mario Kart Tour City tracks. As much as I want tracks like Kalimari Desert or Waluigi Stadium in a new game, but I think the new game would be better off without these tracks. Plus, you can play Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Switch too with backwards compatibility, so if anyone wants to play 3DS Toad Circuit or SNES Mario Circuit 3 on the Switch too, there you go. The only exception are the non-city tracks, so those tracks are allowed to be in this prediction. Rule number 2, no crossover tracks. Crossover tracks in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe are pretty cool, not gonna lie, but I decided not to include them because I want the track selection to be in the Mario universe. Rule number 3, no RMX tracks. To those that don't know what they are, they're basically based on the tracks from Super Mario Kart, and they're all from Mario Kart Tour, which, not gonna lie, they're not really that interesting. Okay, maybe except these two. But still, so don't expect any of these tracks in this prediction. And finally, no tracks from the same game in one cup. We see something like this in the Boosted Course Pass with some cups that have 2 tracks originate from the same game, like the Lucky Cat Cup or the Cherry Cup for example. So I gotta put some variety on these cups. With that being said, let's get to the prediction. First up, the Shell Cup. For the Shell Cup, it consists of returning retro tracks that are part of the Mushroom Cup in their original game. I want to start off with the cup that is full of returning retros, and the next cup will be full of new retros. So this is going to be back and forth between these cups. So for the first track of the Shell Cup will be SNES Mario Circuit 1. I want to start off with the very simplest tracks for the game. Since we're finally entering a new game era, after 11 years with Mario Kart 8, I selected Mario Circuit 1 to start off with. It has been remade in DS and Tour, not counting the Super Circuit remakes, but this will be a good start. And having this track on this prediction means that you won't be seeing Mario Circuit 4. So my apologies to those that wanted MC4. The second track I selected for the Shell Cup will be Koopa Troopa Beach from Mario Kart 64. Seriously, how the hell did we not get this track in the Boosted Course Pass? Especially after seeing that one Easter egg in Sunshine Airport, where you can see the Koopa Troopa rock in the background. That was a big missed opportunity for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. It's a really unique beach track, with a split path around the giant Koopa rock, and having some unique shortcuts. So I hope we get this track in glorious HD on the Switch too. For the third track of the Shell Cup, I picked Shy Guy Bazaar. Okay, how the hell did we get 3DS Toad Circuit instead of this track? Like, come on Nintendo, it's right there. You even feature it in Mario Kart Tour. Also, quick side note, I forgot to mention that I also include tracks that were first remade in Mario Kart Tour. I enjoyed this track in Mario Kart 7, and I was pretty bummed that this didn't make it into the Boosted Course Pass, which is a big missed opportunity as it was originally going to be in the original Wii U DLC, but got cut in favor of other courses. I hope this course gets another chance for the next game. I admired the nighttime aesthetics, the Arabian theme of this track, plus it gave me some Aladdin vibes. So I hope that this track will finally come to a console entry. And spoiler alert, this is going to be the only 3DS track I'm predicting. Also Nintendo, please don't bring back Cheep Cheep Lagoon. That track is so goddamn boring. And I'll be pissed off if this track comes back instead of Shy Guy Bazaar. And to end off the Shell Cup, I picked DS Luigi's Mansion. One of the 3 big boys from Mario Kart DS that never made it to the Boosted Course Pass. This is a track that I've been wanting in the Boosted Course Pass. since the beginning of that era. This is hands down one of the best ghost tracks in any Mario Kart game. And I am super disappointed that this never made the cut in the boosted course pass. How the hell did we get this brainwash track over DS Luigi's Mansion? Sure, 8 Deluxe has GC and Luigi's Mansion, but that's in battle mode. I want to race on a track. Plus, Luigi didn't get a single track in 8 Deluxe, so I hope Nintendo doesn't do Luigi dirty and finally give us a Luigi track like this. And these are all the tracks I selected for the Shell Cup for the new Mario Kart game. Alright, now it's time to move on to the Banana Cup. A cup that's full of new retros that has never been remade. Alright, the first track of this cup is going to be the worst pick I choose, but I don't have any other choices. I don't want to break the rules, and I want to keep the retro selection balanced perfectly, as all things should be. But the track I went for is Figure 8 Circuit. But don't worry, I have other DS tracks on this prediction who are the big boys. This track is not one of them, by the way, so don't worry. For the next track of the Banana Cup, I picked Toad Harbor from Mario Kart 8. Now, fun fact, I was originally making these prediction videos before the official reveal, but back when I was making the original prediction video, I originally picked Water Park for the Shell Cup, but when making this newer version, I decided to pick Toad Harbor instead. I enjoy this track in Mario Kart 8, and I'm kinda curious what Nintendo would do with the anti-gravity section on the wall, which also makes me wonder if anti-gravity will come back in the new game. We never see this in Mario Kart Tour. Heck, not a single Wii U track has ever returned in Mario Kart Tour. If Nintendo decides to cut the anti-gravity for the new game, they could just remove the sections on the wall, as the section itself is entirely optional. For the third track of the Banana Cup, I picked SNES Bowser's Castle 2. Now you're probably wondering, wasn't this track remake in Super Circuit? True, but I don't count the Super Circuit remakes, alright? But anyways, I know that we have SNES Bowser's Castle 3 in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, but I would like to see this one get remade. This has many sharp turns with some jumps and split paths. And let's not forget the infamous dead end road, which is what this track is notorious for. For the new game, I could see either Nintendo transforming the route into a shortcut, or maybe just removing it entirely, but I don't know. Only time will tell. And for the final track, let's end this cup with a banger track that everyone has been wanting for so long. Toad's Factory. Seriously, how is this track not remade in any future Mario Kart games? Not even in Mario Kart Tour. DS Airship Fortress, Luigi's Mansion, Wario Coliseum for the BCP. Despite this track and Wario Coliseum were never added in Mario Kart Tour. While this isn't my favorite track, this is more deserving to get a remake for the next entry, and I'll be happy about it. Plus it's way better than Waluigi Pinball. And this is a perfect track for 24 players. And these are all the tracks I picked for the Banana Cup. I was originally going to pick Wii Luigi Circuit instead of Figure 8 Circuit, but because I selected Toad's Factory, I decided to exclude Wii Luigi Circuit. Plus I don't want this cup to have 2 tracks from the same game. I also thought Mario Kart Stadium to begin the cup, but there's Toad Harbor, another Wii U track. So what the hell am I supposed to do? I say screw it. Plus I didn't say anything because I don't want to spoil my predictions. Alright, now let's get on to the Egg Cup, which features all the Flower Cup tracks that has been remade. For the first track, let me tell you something. Remember that I said that Shy Guy Bazaar was going to be the only 3DS track? I lied. Because I decided to select another 3DS track to join the party. That being 3DS Mario Circuit. I was originally going for Mushroom Bridge, but I have another GCN track that is even better. Sorry Mushroom Bridge fans. But back to the track itself. This is a really interesting track in 7 because you can race inside Peach's castle. I also like the aesthetics, with the cherry blossoms, as well as going inside the pipe. Yeah, there's not much to say about this one. I honestly wouldn't mind having this track in a new game. For the second track of the Egg Cup, I choose Frappe Snowland from Mario Kart 64. Not gonna lie, I kinda like this one more than this game's Sherbetland. It may be on the simple side at the beginning, and have some nice statues of Mario and Yoshi, which is nice for decoration. But I like how Nintendo did this track in Mario Kart Tour, with a nice nighttime aesthetics, and having a nice light blue color visuals. That will be amazing to see in HD, and 24 racers, especially with the section with tons of snowmen everywhere. And it would be nice if Nintendo makes these snowmen explode. That would be funny to see. For the third trick of the Egg Cup, I picked DS Delfino Square. It's been 17 years since this track got a remake in Mario Kart Wii, so it's finally time to get this track another remake. It's a really fun track with a split path between the buildings, and the section with a small ramp leads to the pier. And let's not forget about the drawbridge section. Hell, I even see the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe custom track that gave this track the Peach Gardens treatment by going the track in reverse. And that would be a really cool idea that I would love to see Nintendo try to do. Now we move on to the final track of the Egg Cup. And remember what I said that all tracks in this cup are all Flower Cup tracks? Well, this next track is not from a Flower Cup track, but the track I selected is Yoshi's Island. Well, the track itself has some elements like with the other crossover tracks in Mario Kart 8, but to be fair, that doesn't entirely mean that this track is a crossover track. After all, the Yoshi series is part of the Mario universe, so there's that, so that one counts. This is one of the best tracks coming out of the Mario Kart 8 Deluxe Booster Course Pass, as it's a huge love letter to the SNES game that it's based on, with the layout based on the worlds, the amount of cameo appearances with characters and enemies, and let's not forget the really awesome athletic music theme too. And I would love to see this glorious track in HD. And that concludes my predictions for the Egg Cup. Next up, the Leaf Cup. For the first track of the Leaf Cup, I picked Wario Stadium. And no, I'm not talking about the one from Mario Kart DS, that was already in Mario Kart 8. I'm talking about this one, from Mario Kart 64. I mean, it's pretty obvious that this will be coming, especially the fact that it's the only Nintendo 64 track that has never been remade in any future installments, not even Mario Kart Tour and the Boosted Course Pass. So I think it's finally time for this track to shine. And I can see this track be a one-lap track, similar to N64 Rainbow Road and Mario Kart 8. Since this track was so long, it'll take like 5 minutes or less if you use the skips in the original game, which I can see Nintendo removing these skips in the remake. So this track is 100% guaranteed. The second track for the Leaf Cup will be GBA Broken Pier. And here we are, our first GBA track for this prediction. This was originally going to be SNES Mario Circuit 4, but because I picked Mario Circuit 1, I decided to cut MC4, as both of them share the same theming. So I decided to pick Broken Pier. Sure, both Luigi's Mansion and Broken Pier are both ghost tracks, but they do have different themes and aesthetics. Luigi's Mansion takes place in Boo Woods with the mansion, while Broken Pier is, well, a pier, surrounded by mountains with spooky faces. And yes, those are the same mountains you see in the background of GCN Bowser's Castle and Mario Kart Double Dash. Hope you enjoyed that fun trivia for that one. I always love to look at the mountains while racing on this track, but when it comes to the GBA tracks nowadays, Nintendo would definitely give this track some elevation to make this track look different than the original. I can see this track get an underwater section, similar to what we got in GBA Blue Lake and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Tour. And also, this is one of the 2 GBA tracks that has yet to be remade. For the third track of the Leaf Cup, I picked Sunshine Airport, my favorite track from Mario Kart 8. I enjoyed the theme of this track, racing down the airport and racing inside of the plane and passing the plane after it takes off. I can see this track coming into the new game. Even if Nintendo doesn't bring back the anti-gravity mechanics, I can see this spiral turn will be normal road instead of having anti-gravity. And honestly, this section can do without having the mechanic. And to end off the Leaf Cup, I selected Mushroom City from Mario Kart Double Dash. First off, yes, I did get Double Dash this year. Hooray for me. It's been 17 years since I played this game, as my friend has his copy of the game, and now I finally got my own. And it was a good experience. While I don't have the GameCube itself, I do have the original Wii that supports backwards compatibility with the GameCube games, so there's that. I also got the memory card last year, and the AV to HDMI adapter last year as well, which setting up to get some footage is pretty complicated, but I was able to get things working. But anyways, I know there's some people wanting Mushroom Bridge because it was remade in Tour, but I think Mushroom City is a better candidate for the new game, having the many different paths to take while avoiding the cars, trucks, Bob-omb cars, and the Wiggler buses. It'll be very chaotic for 24 players. and that's what the new game needs. And that concludes my predictions for the Leaf Cup. Now it's time for the final cup with a full set of returning retros, the Bell Cup. The first track of the Bell Cup will be Dry Dry Ruins from Mario Kart Wii. This is another track that was remade in Mario Kart Tour. In fact, it's the only Wii track in Tour to not make an appearance in the Boosted Course Pass. And does make sense to have this track to be cut in the Boosted Course Pass because, Jesus Christ, look how many Wii tracks we have in 8 Deluxe. Nintendo, your Mario Kart Wii buys is showing. But anyways, I always like this one. You may be driving in the desert, but the biggest highlight of this track is by entering the ruins. With swoops on the way, there's also half pipes, and sands coming out of the ceilings, as well as having Pokés as obstacles while having the sections getting filled up with sand. I could see this track make the cut after not being included in the Boosted Course Pass. Up next, GBA Lakeside Park. Another track that was remade in Mario Kart Tour. This track feels so upbeat, and it features a volcano in the background that can spit out lava rocks to the track. This is a track that I really enjoy in Mario Kart Super Circuit. Surely nothing can go wrong with this track, right? Oh shit. Now this is something I'm really worried about. I have a bad feeling that Nintendo would do this track dirty with the Skybox, and we all know what happened to that one track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. To those that aren't familiar with Lakeside Park, it's that on the second lap, the Skybox changes from a peaceful atmosphere to an ominous Skybox as the volcano erupts in the back. This was also included in the Tour remake, and can you imagine this track getting that similar treatment? It'll just take away the charm of this track. So what's the possible solution? I know, just get rid of the calm and peaceful Skybox, and have the Skybox ominously throughout the entire race, especially after the race begins. So let's hope there won't be a Lakeside Park incident. For the third track of the Bell Cup, I picked Ninja Hideaway. A track I always enjoyed from Mario Kart Tour, and I'm really glad it was brought over to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is by far my favorite Tour track, all because of the Japanese aesthetics and the music, as well as the difficulty of this track. And to be honest, I want another remake of this banger track, and I can sense the difficulty of this track with 24 players, with the amount of different paths to take. Sure, I can play this track on the Switch 2 with 8 Deluxe with backwards compatibility, but I want to see Nintendo cooks with this track. Plus, I would love to see a glorious visuals on this track. And to end off my selection of the returning retros as well as the Bell Cup, my final returning retro prediction is the ever popular Airship Fortress. I remember that many people were disappointed that this track got snubbed by DS Mario Circuit in the Boosted Course Pass, as it was the most requested track for the BCP. And honestly, I know how these people feel. I find this track really interesting, with the track being based on Super Mario Bros. 3 with the airship, as well as launching the Spiral Fortress. This is a track that should be a must-have for the new game. While Airship Fortress is not my S tier track, but it's a high A tier track for me. And this and Toad's Factory are way better than Waluigi Pinball. And now we're moving on to the final cup, the Lightning Cup, with the final full set of new retros. For the first track of the Lightning Cup, I picked Piranha Plant Pipeline from Mario Kart Tour, which, let's get the elephant out of the room. It's very likely we're going to see this track coming to the next game, considering the fact that it's the only Tour original track to not make it to the Boosted Course Pass. And believe it or not, even to this day, especially when writing my scripts for this video, as well as this video being uploaded, I still can't get over the fact that this never made to the cut. So I hope Nintendo doesn't pull a Nintendo card and ditch this track forever if Mario Kart Tour eventually closes down, and makes this track be lost media. Unless Nintendo releases an offline version of Mario Kart Tour like Mario Kart Tour Complete, with every single tour for us to play at any time, for $10! But anyways, moving on. Next track, I picked Wario Coliseum. This track is awesome, taking place inside of a Coliseum with a crazy looking layout inside the dome. And no, we're not in Rome Avanti. What's also unique is that this track is played with 2 laps instead of the usual 3 laps. It's a fun track to enjoy, even though I suck at this track. I mean, just look at my epic fails, even when I try to get some footages for this video.
surprise.
Not gonna lie, I enjoy the chaotic moments on this track, and I wanted to see it again in the new remake. Let's just hope Nintendo doesn't make this as a one-lap track, otherwise I'll be disappointed. For the penultimate track for the Lightning Cup, I choose DS Bowser's Castle. Yeah, I know I put a lot of DS tracks in this prediction, but come on, these DS tracks deserve to get remakes for the new game. Well, almost. DS Bowser's Castle. It's by far one of the best looking Bowser's Castle tracks I ever seen. It really has a really cool track layout design. You got this cool section with a rotating circle floor with 2 different paths to choose. And let's not forget it features a rotating bridge above the garden, which is also part of the track. And oh my goodness, the music is very ominous and I love it. This DS track, alongside with the other DS big boys, deserves to be in this game. And before we move on to the final track, I want to show you this funny clip that I took from 2 years ago for my cancelled Booster Course Pass 2 video. So here you go. Man, I'm becoming the worst Mario Kart player. And now, finally, the final track of the Lightning Cup, as well as my retro predictions. And you see this coming. GBA Rainbow Road. I mean, it makes sense after SNES Rainbow Road returns in 7, then there's N64 Rainbow Road and Mario Kart 8, so it's pretty obvious that the next game's retros will end up with a retro Rainbow Road, and GBA is next in line. I can see what Nintendo could do with this track, especially the amount of ramps on the edges. There's also a straightaway with falling stars, and the Peach's Castle, or Bowser's Castle as well, from the original Paper Mario can be seen in the background, which I could see it getting removed in the remake, which would be disappointing, especially for those Paper Mario 64 fans. But they can give us Castle Bowser from Mario Wonder, as long as Bowser himself is not in the race. Although they could use the Bowser's Castle from Superstar Saga, which is also flying. Or just use Castle Bowser with Imposter Bowser. Plus, I'll be shocked if we get both Broken Pier and this Rainbow Road, which would make every Super Circuit track be remade alongside Mario Kart 64. And that's all of my tracks for the Lightning Cup, as well as the entire predictions as a whole. And that's about it for this video. What tracks would you like to see returned in a new game? Do you agree with some of my predictions? Because I sure can tell a lot of you would disagree with Figure 8 Circuit, which is understandable. But I would love to see your predictions down in the comments. With that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give this video a like. Don't forget to comment, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe if you want to see more content like this, as well as some Mario and Nintendo content in the future. With that being said, I'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye, take care, peace.